first and foremost, organizations are driving safety very much through a compliance mindset, whereas you really want leaders to really be committed to the journey of zero harm. And that commitment really starts with the way leaders show up in the field. Now, when you start seeing things go wrong in organizations, you see large turnover, especially at senior leadership level, which prevents that consistent momentum that leaders help in building the right culture in the organization. The problem as well is in this compliance mindset, leaders focus a lot on driving safety as a priority. Now, the challenge with priorities is priorities change. So a lot of organizations have embedded safety as part of their values, but leaders need to really stop and ask the question to say, how do I live safety as a value in everything that we do as an organization? It is very easy to build the systems, it's very easy to write the procedures, to write the standards, to set up the meetings and the governance structures within the organization. But the real question is, are we really bringing the organization along? And that first and foremost talks about capabilities. Do we have the right people with the right capabilities in the organization so that we can effectively mine and that we can effectively mine safely? And then more importantly, it's really how we change the mindsets and behaviors in the organization and shift the culture so that people buy into that value of safety.
Zero harm is super important, and that's where he contributes the most. For my particular instance, it's net zero, so very much focused on how we can support mines on, setting themselves up to make their operations, but also for communities that support them, to make them more resilient against climate change in the future. And one of the biggest pitfalls we currently see is that the mines are not following a value-based approach. They're very much compliance-driven, meaning there's environmental standards that they need to adhere to, for example, rehabilitation and how mines should be closed. But I do believe that the best way to approach this is to embed mine closure and already start to develop post-mining economies whilst operating, so that transition is not a shock to that community and they are basically set up for future success. Taking in consideration that the world around us will be changing as a result of climate change, and therefore ensuring that those communities are resilient and not exposed to the economic burden potentially of disastrous climatic events.